This is a Celo Beats production.
Hello dear viewers, my name is Nino and you're watching Nino's product reviews, and today we're going to take a look at yet another projector. This time it's a really tiny one, the iCODIS CB-100W. Now this is really small. It blew my mind when I saw it first, because it actually it's actually much smaller than the pictures in the sales ad make it look like. I assumed it would be about 4 times as big, and look at this tiny thing. It's so minuscule. I love it. It's basically the best kind of projector if you want to carry it around. It fits in any pocket. It supports micro SD cards, OTG adapter. So if you have an OTG adapter, you can just connect a USB stick to it. And of course, it offers a wide variety of connectivity with your phones, and that's a feature that a lot of my viewers have been asking me about in projectors. So yes, you can just use Miracast. You can use other different standards to connect it with an Android phone, an iPhone, a Windows PC. So there's a lot of connectivity here, and of course it supports Wi-Fi, so it could connect even through your router. So that's a great thing. But let's take a look at the hardware specs. Now we have a VGA resolution of 640 x 480, which is still a better resolution than some of the much larger devices I have seen here. A promised lifetime for the bulb of 30,000 hours. Now I don't know if that's true. I haven't had 30,000 hours of use yet, but I would really hope that it is, because it's so tiny and that's just so impressive. Although I always take such things with a grain of salt. If they still claim 30,000 hours, it's not gonna be 5,000 for sure. So that's certain. We have a built-in battery inside, 1,800 milliamp. So that's pretty sweet, especially considering the fact that it is a mobile device. I have actually had the possibility to test how long it will take for me to drain this one, and it takes about 25 minutes if you use the Wi-Fi setting, or about 40 minutes if you don't. Now it doesn't sound like a lot, but all you need is a micro USB cable, and pretty much anyone has one, and then you can charge it as you go, so that's pretty convenient. But you have to always consider that the battery life is just not that long. We have a very impressive speaker in there. I was really shocked at how loud and clear the speaker sounds, and as you can see, a lot of stuff is packed in next to it. So we have a travel adapter, we have a charging adapter, and the travel adapter has UK, US, pretty much any kind of adaptation that you might need on the go. You have a cable, which is very nice, flat cable. A micro SD card and an adapter is also included, and here we have a tripod. Now for the tripod, you're going to need to use that small plastic part that is also included over here, and you just slide it in there like so, and then you screw it up, and that's pretty nice. But with such a tiny device, you will often feel tempted to just place it in various places where a projector generally shouldn't go, just because you would get a very good projection from there. So that's a huge advantage. I actually had to visit a friend in a hospital recently, and he was very bored. He was bedridden still. That was fresh after the operation, so he couldn't go anywhere. Didn't have much in terms of pain, but wasn't allowed to move anywhere, so he was just lying there in bed. I went there, I placed this puppy right next to his head and projected on the ceiling, and he could see and hear everything, although it never needed to be that close to him for that. It's just so awesome. I was impressed. Of course, the fun only lasted for about 40 to 45 minutes, then it was out of juice, but at least it was a learning experience. In any case, I'm going to move on to the features in a few seconds, but first, another thing that I noticed on the back of the box, it says that it can be spread to up to what is 120 inch of a projection. Now that sounds huge, consider how big that is. I definitely did not believe this, but look at this. Now this is projected on one of my walls. As you can see, I'm a fairly big guy, and this thing is making an awesome projection. And here we have a 90-inch projection. Just because I didn't have more space, I couldn't go further. I'm about 2.5 meters away from this wall, basically. Not me, but the device itself, sorry. And at that distance it projected 90-inch, 229 centimeters, which is approximately 90 inch. I think it's 89.7 or something like that. But in any case, it's a giant projection. And as you can see, the device supports DLNA, which will enable you to connect to it and transfer files using a router or directly from a phone over a router, basically any kind of smart device that supports DLNA. And you may notice this kind of flickering up and down motion. Now, this is not something you'll be seeing it if you use the device. This only happens because my camera can see it. Okay, the human eye does not see this. It looks wonderful. Here we have the AirPlay for iOS, and every time you have these instructions, and it's very simple to connect. It always does a great job. Then we have the Android, which would be Miracast. Also very easy as long as you have a device that supports it. And then we're gonna move on also to the Windows option. So the device really teaches you how to do everything. It's really not hard at all, and makes everything a breeze. Of course, for the Windows one, you need 8.1 or later. Otherwise, this is not going to work without additional software, and that's just really a headache to set up, but it is possible, especially if you know what you're doing. And let's just take a quick look at the settings. This device can connect to a Wi-Fi network, obviously, if it can stream. And I'm sorry about the shaking, but that is the one thing that we're lacking here. If we had some kind of tiny remote, this would be so much better, because right now I have to actually press the buttons on top of the device. The device is sitting on a on my chair, on my desk chair, and that chair is slightly soft, so every time I press, it kind of sinks in and goes out. About the projection, by the way, we said 90 inch. It could have, I'm certain that it could reach those 120 they promised, because this is basically defined by the focusing ability of the device. Once you reach a certain distance at which it cannot focus anymore, you've basically hit it. And we were nowhere near that distance with the 90 inch. I would love to go to some much bigger place where I have more distance possibilities here and try this out. And now that we've seen that the settings are quite minimal and you really don't need much when it comes to such a mobile device, let's actually take a look at something that I have in a micro SD card, just some movie examples. And you're going to immediately notice here that the sound is quite good. I'm just gonna let you enjoy it.
Once again, Peg, way to homemake. I can't quite reach.
The speaker really blew me away. For such a tiny device to be so loud and clear at the same time, it's really impressive. The picture is also bright. You would think that this thing would be of much lesser quality. It is not cheap. It is not cheap by far. I'm gonna include, as always, links towards the device and towards Amazon, so you can see how much it costs currently. I never named the exact prices because they are actually subject to change. Sometimes they change. So I'm going to include these links at the bottom in the description, of course. So if you want to buy it or just check out how much it costs or more specific information about it, like text specifications, they're usually all written on the Amazon sales page. So the links will be there. But as you can see, this device looks great. I mean, it can make a huge, very nice picture. You can clearly hear the sound. It has a very, very good speaker. So ultimately, the question is, should you get this device? And my suggestion is, if you can afford it, definitely. This is definitely worth its money. It's much better than most of the large devices that I've had within they're much lower, in a much lower price range, but still this is just much better if you want a portable device that you can carry around. It's definitely gonna come with me when I go to different places. I fall in love with this, and I'm looking forward to more awesome devices that perform excellently and at the same time are in a small form factor. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time again.